Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Doing well.
So today we are talking about the Cohiba Macassar Toro Grande. This is a Toro cigar, 6-inch, 52 ring gauge. Comes out of the General Cigar Dominicana factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrapper is Connecticut Habano. Binder is Connecticut Broadleaf. And the filler is from the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. Price point on this cigar is $21.99, and the release date was August of 2016. So with all the details out of the way, let's get into our experience. So Jiunn, what was your pre-light experience like?
First, with the look and feel of the cigar, I thought that the wrapper had a thick and rustic Maduro wrapper. The cigar was kind of veiny and lumpy throughout the whole thing, but kind of feeling it through the fingers. There was some decent good oil content to it, and so that's always a plus. It makes it feel like a cigar that's alive, I guess, for lack of a better word. Bunching really feels well executed. There's a nice uniform get to the whole cigar. The cap on mine that I smoked, it was applied really sloppily. It wasn't wrapped all the way around. On one side, it was really close to the tip, and that really annoyed me because I kept thinking, well, I don't think I could cut this exactly the way I want to cut it. So moving on, pre-light nosing experience. Nosing the wrapper, it got flowers, barnyard, cedar. Nosing the foot, I got some subtle black pepper, sweet and creamy nuttiness and cedar. Cold draw, faint aged cedar, some lip warming white pepper zing, and some dried cardboard. So all in all, solid, good experience.
Yeah, wrapper's dark brown, a couple of medium-sized veins, a patchwork of fine veins on there. Seems only really visible due to some slight shade changes in the wrapper. Triple cap was applied well on my sample. The band is like a somewhat standard Cohiba format, but it's mostly shiny silver with black lettering and also kind of displays the Macassar name on there. I would expect something a little more extravagant for a cigar that has a MSRP of $21.99. It just seemed really, really cheap for a band, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. Aroma from wrapper, just a faint hay, and the foot aroma was a pretty sweet hay. Pre-light draw, just a very mild leather, along with a slight spicy tingle that I was getting on my lips. So getting into flavor, what was your flavor experience like?
I'll group kind of the first two thirds together because they're fairly similar. Two words come to mind about the smoking experience in general is faint and subtle in terms of the flavors. So, in the beginning, it was mainly dirt and char. I got some airy, creamy breadiness to it, some intermittent ripe cherries. Through the nose, I would say the best way I could put it is I started getting some easygoing fake black pepper. Still have that char and the airy bread. Finish faint with chars. There's a slight metallic note to it in the first third, and that metallic note, especially in the second third, when I kind of took more draws and dug into it a little bit more, it takes it almost gasoline like. I try to use better word than gasoline in my notes, but
You gotta use what you experience, right?
but I tasted it and I was like, man, that's off-putting. So that kind of metallic note kind of had a little mixture of like a gasoline note to it. And then also within the body and strength, just medium. Sometimes I kind of think about it as like medium minus, but it was, let's just say medium for the most part. And then kind of the last third, I felt like is kind of where the cigar kind of started to hit a stride and kind of woke up for me. I started getting a lot of cream notes. I like a cream cherry candy, like a soft candy that's out there, creamy wood, like a pastry, like breadiness to it, and then some black pepper on the lips and wood bitters to kind of round out that creaminess. Through the nose, got more of that soft cherry candy sort of a thing going. Some subtle wood bitterness and creamy bread, and just that continuous easygoing black pepper spice. And in general, when I say easygoing black pepper on the retrohale, what's a better way to perhaps describe that is there's really not enough pepper.
Mm-hmm.
So finish was the same, mainly dry oak and slight wood bitterness. But overall, it was just a really faint and subtle experience mixed with that metallic gasoline type of note
Mm-hmm.
in an intermittent fashion. What was what I mainly got out of this $22 banging cigar.
Yeah. Yeah, initial draws for me were wood. It was along with the sensation that I think was supposed to translate into cinnamon, but it came across as like an intense artificial sweetness, kind of like sweet and low. It's not really sweet, but it has that like sharp bite that it would have if you like kind of poured a little packet directly on your tongue. You just kind of get like a quick intense hit
Yeah.
of that. So I'm not sure if that comes across correct, but
No,
you know,
I hear what you're saying.
if you do it, you would know what I'm talking about. Half an inch in, that sharpness settled down a little bit into a mild sweetness to go along with the wood. Retrohale was just wood without the sweetness. Inch and a quarter, I started to get random moments of that sharpness that I was talking about, where it would just kind of pop in there, or I'd get a little bit of slight bitterness, and that was kind of happening on alternating draws. As the third came to a finish, that profile settled into like primarily wood. With I'd get the wood, I'd get a quick hit of sweetness, and then it would finish with a slight bitterness, and the strength was just right at medium. Second, third. The bitterness is increasing, kind of pushing that wood into the background, and that kind of slight sweetness had gone away. At an inch in, bitterness is still up front with the wood in the background, and the retrohale is a pretty dry wood. And as the third was coming to a close, that bitterness increased even more, and there was like a substantial char that joined with the wood, and the strength had bumped up a little bit to slightly above medium. Final third. That intense bitterness just continues with that highly charred wood. 3/4 of an inch in, same intense bitterness. Char dropped a little bit, but the wood was really very hard to detect at that point because the bitterness it was such a long finish on the bitterness. It was just like masking everything, and that's kind of how the cigar finished out. But the strength went up to medium full at that point, so it was just like you're getting bitterness, you're getting a bunch of strength. It just was kind of like going out on a sad note. Performance-wise, what was your experience like?
Performance is perhaps the best part of the cigar. Burn was really good. I smoked this for a little over 2 hours. Burn line was a little wavy, but all the leaves burned in unison without really any big issues. Ashes are really rock sturdy, and averaging 1 inch increments. Draw was perfect. So I cut this one at the very tip of that last the cap, and that yielded just a perfect amount of resistance for me. I will say though, this is a cigar that I actually had to cut twice. Tar I would say some tar buildup in the middle of it, which is perhaps attributed to that metallic gasoline taste that I was talking about earlier.
Mm.
But even after I cut it, I still got some of that. So,
Yeah, for me, the burn was perfect through the first 2/3, and then it got a little bit wavy in the final third. And the ash was holding on in inch and a half segments, so it was pretty good. The draw was perfect through the first 2/3 as well, and then it tightened up a bit in the final third. So I'm not sure if kind of that and the burn, how it transitioned in that final third, had anything to do with kind of the continued intense bitterness I was getting or not, but that's kind of how it went. So overall, what were your thoughts on the cigar?
I felt self-conflicted about scoring this cigar. So I guess on one page I thought, all right, is this a cigar where I could describe it as it is subtle and faint and nuanced, quote unquote nuanced, right? Or is this flavorless?
Right.
I settled more on the flavorless aspect, where I felt like it was too faint. I also felt like if I were to look at the notes by itself, they sound like tasty notes. For some reason, tasting them all together throughout the whole smoking experience, it just didn't meld well together for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you compound that by that intermittent gasoline metallic note. It was not good.
Right.
But overall, the redeeming aspect of it is that last third, where I kind of felt like the cigar kind of hit its stride and kind of gave me what I felt like it should have gave me since the beginning, and build up on those notes.
Right.
But overall, I mean, not that the price factors into our scoring, but dude, this is a $22 cigar. I expect fantastic.
Yeah.
If you miss anything other than fantastic, this is a failure.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, this was a very lackluster experience. There was some decent flavors in that first third, but then the bitterness kind of entered in. It just took over the profile, starting that second third. My understanding is that this is supposed to be a toned down version of the Commodore. But I never smoked the Commodore, so I can't really say, whether or not this is anything like that or not. But who knows? Maybe someone that smoked that and smoked this could say so.
I have smoked the Commodore.
Okay. And thoughts?
I don't. It's not fresh in my mind, but I would definitely not describe it as faint flavored.
Okay. All right. Cigar had good performance. That doesn't make up for the flavor issues. You could have perfect good performance. If the flavor's not there, it's not a good cigar. I have another sample of this that I want to try to find out if, this wasn't a good one. I smoked another one a while back, and I couldn't get that one to burn at all. So I don't know if this is just a transition in how things are going, that they're just going to get better over the time, because the first one was really not good. So what I'll probably do with this other sample is I'm going to probably just let it rest for a year, and then I'll come back to it, and I'll see if whatever was going on with the cigar has settled down, it aged itself out, and then it can now be something that's a little bit more enjoyable. Because you said final third kind of was a hit for you, so maybe more time can make that even out for the rest of the cigars. So I just thought this was a pretty disappointing cigar, and I thought it was disappointing regardless of the price point. Even if this was a $7 cigar, it was a disappointment. So I just think it has to be a little bit better job with the cigar. So getting into scores, you gave it a 6.20. I gave it a 3.67. How do you think your score matched up with your experience?
Oh, shit. I think overall it's an average cigar, and that's perhaps being a little nice. The 6 range it hit because of the fact that it was a well-constructed cigar, and I gave good points on that. But if I were to purely focus on the flavor, it is at best average. So, in other words, I'm good with my score.
Yeah, my score easily reflects my experience. Not very good, way below average. Price point doesn't help it. Didn't that had factored into the score at all. But I think I browsing around. You can find this pretty easily online for like $14. So that $22 MSRP is, I don't know, Gurkha-ish.
There's a lot of bucks, man, for this.
Yeah. So like I said, I'll try it again just to make sure I didn't get 2 duds. But if I wasn't reviewing this cigar, I would have put it down in the first inch and a half, probably. It just was not gonna. It just wasn't gonna. I couldn't see it like having some magical retribution in that final third after the way the second third kind of ran through. So, I'm trying to be as respectful about it as possible. I'm really not trying to badmouth the cigar. I can only just relay my experience, and this is for my palate. So other people may love this cigar, but just for me, this was a really big miss. But like I said, I'm always open to revisiting the cigar, just to find out if I smoke bad samples, if there's a better representation out there to prove that I'm wrong, or that time can really improve the cigar. So I'm always willing to do that. So I'm going to go back to this later on and find out how age treats a cigar. So any final thoughts from you on this?
I'm going to bounce off your thoughts on trying this down the road, because what is it? When you smoked that first one, how long was that? No more than like 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Didn't burn.
Right.
And then some of the metallic notes that I tasted off of this sample, this all leads to me thinking it just did not properly sit long enough in inventory
Mhm.
and in age. But even though, it's my experience has been if a cigar sucks when it's young, it's gonna suck when it ages.
Right, right.
But
Yeah, there's
I
rare,
hear you.
rare
I also
cases.
want to say that I want to be completely respectful. Like I know that it takes time, and people have way more knowledge than I do in terms of blending these cigars and whatnot, right? But what I tasted was what I tasted, and and that's what that's saying with all respect. I am not quote unquote shitting on the cigar. It's just what I'm saying that I tasted in my
Right.
experience.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for watching. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also read the full written review at the website, developingpalates.com. And be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next video.